Welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, The Other Side. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, The Other Side, the parallel dimension to BCC. I'm your host, reaching for an empty mug. I forgot to put my water in here, Michael McMillan. Speaking of liquids,
product placement, we do what we can.
No longer available in the TeePublic shop. That's maybe we'll make the Saucerama mug come back for the summer.
I would love to re-release some mugs if only I can replace the ones that I've broken.
You know what? We could have a mug week on the show where just do mugs. We'll do like a retro drop at some point where we'll like throw up all the retro designs we have for a while.
I selfishly want that for myself. I need to replenish some of my mugs. I
got to pour some water out of my Batman glass into my BCC mug. Speaking of liquid, with me always is the reality fluid druid.
Whoa, Riley Bray. Cool.
What's up, dude? Hang 10.
Just slipping and sliding through dimensions, my guy.
That was submitted by our friend right over here on the other side, Sean Leslie. Hi, Sean. Thank you so much.
Good one.
You know what? I'm going to turn my Do Not Disturb on. Listen, guys, we are having a blast already. It's just, it's called Get Your Shit Together, Michael.
We had a whole lighting tutorial before we started.
We did. How do you guys like the new setup I got going on over here? If you're watching this on the Cosmic Tier.
Youthful glow.
Yeah, I feel and look a lot better than I have been lately. Speaking of merch, I want to remind everybody that you can grab our new merch and other side merch for the very first time over at our TeePublic shop. I will throw the link up in the show notes to this episode. Also, can we say this? I think we can. You're looking at the Google Doc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell everybody listening, this is a big announcement. Save the date. August 1st. If you are in the Midwest, BCC is coming to KC Paracon in Leavenworth, Kansas, which is right outside of Kansas City. I'm going back to my home grounds.
That's right.
And Riley and I are going to do a show. We're doing the first live BCC show since the 2-Bit Circus show, Bigfoot's birthday?
Yeah.
I think so. It's been a minute.
It has been, yeah.
So we're super excited about that. We're still in the early stages. I don't have all of the information for y'all yet. It'll be on Friday night, August 1st. By the time this goes live, I'll have more information. I will just put a link to the KC Paracon website in the show notes, and then you guys can check it out. But hey, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in KC, if you're anywhere nearby, come on out and see your BCC boys.
We're hitting the road.
It's a hometown. It's a homecoming. It's a
saddling up the horses, packing the wagons.
Is this? No, it's not our first out of town show because we've done Salt Lake City and Austin.
Right. Yeah.
We gotta get on.
It's our first Midwest show.
First Midwest show, and we got to get out to the East Coast at some point. Listen, we're coming back to life here over on BCC, okay?
Mm-hmm. Like a zombie from the grave.
That's right. All right, let's swing by Commenters Club, shall we, Riley?
All right. Well, is this from Bigfoot's Ghost?
Yes.
Okay.
Our Patreon, Bigfoot's Ghost.
Oh, well, there you go. Great name, by the way, Patreon. And Bigfoot's Ghost says, for real, you gotta start writing cryptid erotica. And Bigfoot's Ghost, I could not agree more. Michael, this is your calling.
I was in the shower the other day. Don't get excited, everybody. And I thought of a plot.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, is this really good? This might be really good. So I have an idea. I'll just say that. I'm not going to tell everybody what it is.
Can you give us a crumb? Can you give us a character name? A setting?
The woods. Definitely the woods. It's a Bigfoot. It's a Bigfoot one.
Okay.
I'll give you a clue.
All right.
Telepathic sex.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting some messages from the woods.
Oh, yeah.
When you're all alone in the house.
The woods are calling.
Yeah.
Steamy.
roasting me already.
You literally have to do this now. You understand?
I think
this,
I will.
right?
Listen, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. We are full of unfulfilled promises on this podcast, if nothing. But I will do this, okay? I'm going to be very embarrassed.
Well, you could also not say anything. You can just say that it has been done and not say what your pen name is.
Yeah.
And people can just guess.
That's the other thing. Okay, read Bigfoot Ghost's comment, and then I'm going to reply because I think I found the perfect pen name.
Okay. Author name, Anastasia Starr.
That's good.
Or Lucien Diffus.
Ooh, I like that one too.
Series name, Lust Beyond the Veil.
That's pretty good. And
that would
actually might apply to the one that I've got the idea for.
Okay.
Okay.
And volume 1 title, I heard the wood knocks, so I rode his wood.
Yeah.
Or he came through the trees and made me come with him. Bigfoot's Ghost, I think you need to start writing cryptid erotica. Maybe we can get a whole writers group going here. Let's get a room.
God. What if we just turn it to like a weird porn club? Like it's just like really oddly taking this weird left turn.
It's all led up to this. Just an online erotica writers room.
More successful than ever.
Oh, 1,000% it would be more successful. That is unquestioned.
So Emily Thompson had suggested, please give Patty some scenes in your Bigfoot erotica. Those pendulous breasts need some attention. And why should male Bigfoots get to have all the interspecies fun? Also, 100% behind Tanya Lake as the pen name, which is perfect. I didn't even think of that at the time. It is.
Tanya Lake is good.
Tanya Lake is great.
Yeah.
And the most obvious, even though I overlooked it until you guys suggested it. But I think I have a really good romance novelist name, and I Googled and no one has taken this.
Oh, okay.
What do y'all think about Chelsea St. James?
Ooh, nice. I mean,
really
so much
nice.
for anonymity, but that is...
Chelsea St. James.
St. James.
You really trust Chelsea St. James to take you there.
She's like the rebellious daughter of a wealthy family.
Yes. It's like the Chelsea Hotel and then like the St. James Park in London. I can go a lot of directions with Chelsea. Chelsea and I can go a lot of places together.
This may be your calling. It really might be.
Dad, before you pass on to the next life, I want you to know that your son is finally a massive success. I'm Chelsea St. James, and I write Bigfoot erotica. Are you proud of me?
I've never been more proud, son.
Holds my hand, and then the machine goes to like beep.
Yeah. Or that's when he goes, wait, that's been you?
Yeah, that was you? Yeah. Oh my God, I've been making my dad ejaculate.
Sorry, Dad.
What are we, 8 minutes in? We're already talking about my dad dying and ejaculating.
At the same time, potentially.
It's okay. He doesn't support the Patreon. It's
Great.
fine.
It's a safe space.
Yeah. Listen, the wheels are turning, everybody. So...
What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose? I also thought maybe like I could release it chapter by chapter on the Patreon, like give you guys some previews. I just don't. It is the thing where I really don't want the Patreon to turn into like a porn like distribution center. I don't want people to be like suddenly grossed out, or so maybe we'll have to
consent.
So maybe like
the people who want it.
There might need to be a Tanya Lake tier. You know what I mean?
Okay, there you go.
That's going to be like a little bit, just maybe a couple bucks more. And then if you want that, you will get it. But I don't want to give it to people who don't want it.
Right. That's good. That's a good place to start from.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what you guys think.
I mean, I think they want it, judged on the comments and the creativity of the crowdsourcing.
Yeah. Okay.
It seems like we're all pretty game for this.
Yeah. So. Okay. All right. What's Ben Spencer have to say?
Ben says, "Hi, Michael and Riley. This comment is not related to this episode, but I thought I'd share this fun bit of synchronicity. I will admit that I am way behind on my BCC listening. That's okay. A few nights ago, I had a dream that I was back in college, even though I knew that I had already graduated, a recurring theme for me. I have those too.
Oh, yeah, me. I think I had one of those last night.
I'm always like 1 credit shy and can't find class.
Yeah.
But
oh, yeah. Like you never took your math class. And I'm like, oh, no.
Always. Yeah. I don't remember what the class was, but Michael was the teacher and Riley was a fellow student. And the better student, he understood the content of Protocol 23, whereas I did not.
Now, do you understand what the Protocol 23 is?
Not in the slightest.
I don't even know what it is.
Is pretty smart, apparently. I took it as a sign that I needed to do some catching up. Tonight, I scrolled back to episode 287, and what were the first words out of Michael's mouth? Welcome to the Bigfoot Collectors Club, the other side. Sit up straight. Class is in session. That's wild. Anywho, hope you're doing well. I'll be listening to this episode in a few weeks, I'm sure.
Protocol 23 is a Star Wars reference. I should know this.
You should know that, yeah. I don't know what that is.
Protocol 23 was carried out by the Galactic Empire during its reign on the galaxy. In 9 years before the Battle of Yavin, it was carried out on the mining planet Mapuzo at a checkpoint by stormtroopers who were informed by the transport driver Freck that they would want to check out the passengers on his transport, the Alderaanian Princess Leia Organa and the Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, this is from Kenobi, the live action series. Okay. There you go, everybody. Well, I love this, Ben. Also, I thought this would be a nice little springboard to share synchronicities that have been happening to me since Joshua Cutchin's been on the show. So if you haven't listened to Joshua Cutchin's episode yet, please do. It's great. But we talk about fictional incursions, which is what his new book, Fourth Wall Phantoms, is about. This is about like people seeing fictional characters out in the real world, like when we do our Santa Claus stories around Christmas time and people actually see Santa. But I had asked Josh Riley about the Gumby sightings. Mm-hmm. And the book also has a lot to do with like, there's a lot of talk about synchronicities, and we talk about synchronicities in the episode. So because the Gumby thing really like was fun, you know, because some people claim that they've like driven down a country road and seen Gumby crossing the road like you would Bigfoot. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So the day after we record that episode, I'm walking the dogs here in my neighborhood, Riley, and I'm crossing the street and I look down, something catches my eye, a little glint of yellow. Mm-hmm. And I look down like right in my path, and I jaywalk all over my neighborhood. It's not, it's a residential area. So there were so many places I could have crossed the street. But dead, like right in my path, I look down and I find, I'll throw some pictures up because I took pictures of all of these things.
Yeah, he's been texting these to me, you guys.
I look down and I see a yellow guitar pick featuring Gumby playing the guitar on the guitar pick.
Shredding a Flying V guitar, no less.
So right away, I'm like, well, this is a fun synchronicity, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, literally never in my life have I seen a Gumby guitar pick.
Never in my life. And I cannot tell you the last time I've seen an image of Gumby, that I wouldn't have had to go out of my way to find, like on a Google search or something.
Totally. It's not like topical these days.
No.
Yeah.
I'm a look at my room. Mm-hmm. I got tons of cartoon crap all over the place. Now, if you were like, oh, Mickey Mouse, I'd be like, yeah, I see Mickey all the time. I see Uncle Scrooge all the time. Okay, guys? Spidey, no big deal. Gumby caught my attention. Mm-hmm. In fact, I texted you. I even texted Josh, and he was like, man, that's a really wild synchronicity and not the first that I've heard from people who've read my book. So I shrugged it off. That was the day after. Friday, no Gumby. Saturday, I pick up my aunt and my cousin from the airport who are visiting in LA. And we're on our way back to Hollywood, stuck in traffic. And I look over and just happen to see a car passing. And on the bumper is a bumper sticker that says Gumby for president and has Gumby's face on it.
Yeah.
I tell my cousin, get a picture of that. I'll explain later. So she does. I send it to you. I send it to Josh. And both of you guys are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, dude. So that's honestly, when's the last time you saw a Gumby bumper sticker?
Exactly.
Never? potentially?
No.
Yeah. I've also, since this started, I've been keeping an eye out, and I will say no Gumbies on my end. Not a one.
So I tell my aunt and my cousin about it. They enjoy it. And then I go to bed that night. And I have a little thing that a little mental message I send up to the universe because I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, if these synchronicities are real, and this is like actually some kind of like phenomenon at play, trickster at play, show me a life-size Gumby. I was like, there's no way. So Saturday, drive my aunt and cousin all over Los Angeles. I give them the best tour by car. We go down Hollywood Boulevard. We go down the Sunset Strip. I'm like, there's the Comedy Store. There's Whiskey A Go-Go. Past Rainbow. The Rainbow Bar where we talked about the haunted place, you know, the hauntings with Zachariah and Ansley.
Lemmy's Ghost.
Going down through Beverly Hills. Take them. At that point, I'm like, fuck it. Go Century City. Take them out to the coast. We stop, have lunch in Abbot Kinney. I do like whole big tour. I'm driving all over Los Angeles. On the way back, I'm like, we didn't go down Rodeo Drive. I'm going to show my cousin Rodeo Drive. And we turn, I'm like, I make a last minute right-hand turn onto Little Santa Monica Boulevard so I can bypass some traffic. And as I'm turning, I go about 50 feet and my cousin goes, oh my God, and points out the window. And we're passing the Paley Center for television. And at the window, facing my car, not even facing the main road, but facing Little Santa Monica Boulevard, with his arm in the air, is a life-sized Gumby statue looking directly at me. Insane. And I went, holy fucking shit, this is insane.
You asked for it, and it appeared.
I asked for it, and it appeared. So let's backtrack. Wednesday, we record. Thursday, I see the Gumby pic. Friday, not paying attention, don't see any Gumby. Saturday, Gumby. Saturday, Gumby. Sunday, life-size Gumby. So 3 out of the 4 days. Right? Yes. Yep. 3 out of the 4 following days, I see Gumby.
Yeah.
So Monday rolls around. I'm like, okay. I got my life-size Gumby. There's no need for any more Gumby in my life.
It's real. It's been proven.
Proved its point. By the way, I'm sending all of these to Josh, and he's like increasingly freaking out. So I go to bed. It's been a full day. No Gumby. And I'm like, well, I guess Gumby's gone. And I'm reading a thick phone book size volume of Amazing Spider-Man comics from the 1980s. And I've just nestled in. I've just got all cozy and under the covers. I read one page. I turn the page, and in the top panel on the next page is a character who is wearing a Gumby t-shirt.
This is crazy, man.
And the way it's drawn is Gumby's kind of like over there. The characters are all moving Peter and Mary Jane out of their apartment. And Flash Thompson is wearing a Gumby t-shirt, and it's kind of like peeking out from the edge of the mattress that he's carrying as if to be like, I see you.
Yeah, it is very that.
And that's one, I mean, that can't even be confirmation bias because that's in the random book I just happened to be reading. And there, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going out of my way to find that one.
No, yeah, you're not going to like Gumby.com and being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might. I was texting with Michael about this, and I told him, I was like, if this was like a Are You Afraid of the Dark children's like scary series, like this ends with you turning into Gumby. You understand that?
Yeah,
right?
or I think so. Or summoning Gumby, and then Gumby like overtakes me, and I become covered in the Gumby and become Gumby. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird though because it started as like a pic, a bumper sticker, and then a life size. It's almost like it's becoming more real. And now
Gumby, then it was in your house.
And then it was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So that first one in my house. In my house, next? Riley, where I sleep.
The Gumby's coming from inside your house.
Where I eat, where I come to play with my toys.
Yeah.
Nothing yesterday on Tuesday. We are now a full week later. But I got to say, 4 out of 7 days, 4 out of 6.5 days, and I'm having Gumby incursions.
Mm-hmm. I will say, really resisting the urge to buy Gumbies and place them around your house.
I mean, that would be very fun. So now I'm like...
I'm not going to do it. In the name of science, I will resist this prank.
That's fair. But now I'm like, is Gumby trying to tell me something? You know, maybe Gumby's like, I'm a neglected fictional character.
Yeah.
Somebody help me out here. Let's put something together here, you know?
Maybe we should do a Gumby dive.
I
always liked Gumby as a kid. I remember watching that.
I did too. I loved Gumby.
Yeah. Wasn't there so there's the Pokey, right? Is the
Pokey's
orange horse?
The horse.
Were there other, there was a girl or something?
Excuse me, I don't know why I'm burping so much, everybody. Let's look up Gumby
That's
and
when
friends.
Gumby crawls out of your mouth.
Okay, now, for the record, this is the first time I've gone out of the way to look for Gumby, okay?
Okay.
Gumby and friends. But, you know, this is kind of like knocking back when you hear knocks in the house. Okay, so we got Pokey, Gumby's orange and black pony companion.
Yeah.
Prickle, a yellow... fire-breathing dinosaur. Remember Prickle?
Oh, right. Of
Prickle's
course.
Cool.
Yeah.
Goo, who was a blue mermaid-like figure. Then there are the blockheads. Those are kind of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Gumbo and Gumba, who are Gumby's parents. Nopey, Gumby's dog.
Oh, yeah. Gumby had a dog.
Dog friend who uses vocabulary consists of only one word, nope.
Nope.
And then we've got Minga, Gumby's sister, Denali, a mastodon friend. That was in the 1988 series. That's not the original.
I kind of remember the mastodon.
There you go.
Wow, it's a whole universe. Well, now look what you've just done.
I've engaged.
You just planted all those seeds.
I've engaged. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'll keep you guys posted on my Gumby incursions.
It's pretty wild, honestly.
It is weird, right?
It's weird. It's legitimately weird.
And this is the type of shit that happens to me. This is the type of, I don't see UFOs really, but this is the type of shit that happens to me. This is when I get all freaked out about tarot cards, and I'm like, I thought of a tarot card and then it was the one that I pulled, or I saw a tarot card on a thing and went, I should play I should pull a card and it's the same card. I get these things, these synchronicities show up for me a lot.
Yeah. It's weird, man. It's weird.
It's fun.
I'm excited to see what comes next.
You'll find out. Okay, Riley, should we get to this week's high strangeness over here on BCC, the other side? So we're going to shift gears from fictional incursions to another captivating topic, UFO fightings. Yeah, actually, UFO fightings. UFO fightings and sightings in the Soviet Union during the late 1980s and early 1990s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Obviously, Russia's in the news right now, causing a lot of trouble. But there was some other Russian news that dropped in the past couple weeks. Riley, did you happen to catch wind of the recently, or I would say recently resurfaced, because I think it was declassified in 2000, but it started making the rounds. It's a CIA document that talks about aliens turning Russian soldiers into limestone statues.
No, I did not see that at all.
So this was making the rounds in the news and on social media. According to Kyiv Post, I just thought I would cite a Ukrainian newspaper for this.
Nice.
The CIA, the CIA report approved for release in May 2000 is neither confirmation nor denial of the encounter, but merely a retelling of a report that originates from the post-Soviet space, allegedly part of a KGB leak after the USSR collapsed. And then that circulated back to the CIA. So I'm going to read you the full document here. And pay attention, because it seems like this story was at one point in the 90s reported in the Canadian Weekly World News. So I don't know how much of this is real, but for some reason, the CIA wanted to pay attention to this case.
That's like Canadian supermarket tabloid?
I would guess. We could do a quick Googs and find out. But So here we go. And then this is actually, the document is also a reprint from the newspaper Ternopil Verchinyi, which is a Ukrainian paper, I believe, called Cosmic Revenge. And so this is a story. It's a CIA document that is reporting a story, a secondhand story that was in a Ukrainian paper in the 1990s.
Okay.
So here we go. Document time. After Mikhail Gorbachev dissolved in 1991, the KGB Top Secret Intelligence Administration gathered a lot of material from that department. They found their way abroad, in particular to the CIA. As news reported by the authoritative magazine Canadian Weekly World News, U.S. intelligence obtained a 250-page file on the attack by a UFO on a military unit in Siberia. The file contains not only many documentary photographs and drawings, but also testimonies by actual participants in the events. One of the CIA representatives referred to this case as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze.
Okay.
According to the KGB materials, I'm still reading the CIA document. A quite low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer appeared above a military unit that was conducting routine training maneuvers. For unknown reasons, somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO.
Okay.
It fell to Earth not far away, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes emerged from it. It is stated in the testimonies by the 2 soldiers who remained alive after that, that after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together and then, quote, merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape, end quote. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply and then became brilliant white. So we have like alien grays just shot down, get out of their flying saucer, now it's morphin' time.
Oh, hell no.
In a few seconds, the spheres grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived. The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the, quote, petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone. Are you still with me here?
I'm with you. I have opinions.
A CIA representative stated, if the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked. That's the end of the document. Single page.
Okay, wait. So I'm a little confused. This is said to be a newspaper report about the document, or this is supposed to be straight from the document?
So that's all straight from the document. There's a link to the Kyiv Post that has a photo of the document, and everything I just read is from that scanned document page.
Okay, I don't believe that.
Okay.
I will say straight up, because this does not read like a military or intelligence document.
No. So the document is repeating a article that was printed in a Ukrainian paper.
Okay.
And then commenting on the article.
I understand. Okay, I was a little confused as to the structure here.
And the article that they are copy and pasting into this CIA report also references that the story had leaked somehow to the Canadian Weekly World News.
Okay, all right. I'm back on the line.
The timeline, if true, is KGB. Timeline, if true, is that at some point, I'm going to guess during the 1980s, Russian soldiers are doing training sessions in Siberia. This UFO attack occurs. 2 soldiers get away. KGB investigates the whole thing.
Right.
Then, this is the story if we're to believe it. Somehow, the KGB leaked, someone in the KGB leaked this story to the Canadian Weekly World News. They reported this story. The Ukrainian paper picked it up, reprinted it, and then someone in the CIA, who's obviously gathering information, this is 1991, so this is like right after the fall of the USSR, is going, holy shit, I don't know if this is true or not, but we need to... They're probably just gathering anything and everything they can that's like KGB,
because it's also they're gathering like disinformation and
exactly.
propaganda, everything.
Propaganda, all of it. They're gobbling it up, and they're like, here's something that we found that talks about KGB and UFOs.
Got it.
This was never printed in America, so we're sending it back to Washington, and we're making a report of it. So that's what this document is. Now, whether or not this UFO attack actually occurred, whether it's disinformation, all that stuff, fun debate we can all have.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But I love...
I understand now.
But people took notice because in the age that we're living in with Tic Tac UFOs and all of the stuff coming out of the Pentagon, that they were like, holy shit, the CIA had a document that was declassified that talks about aliens turning Russian soldiers into stone.
Right.
And that's why people passed it around. So I had to look at this and go, what the fuck is this story?
Peel back the layers, yeah.
And then that led me to what turned out to be other documents, CIA documents that are collecting UFO encounter stories from Russia during the Cold War era. And our longtime listeners may remember this, and I'm talking a long time ago, back in, I want to say BCC episode 10. I could check that, but I don't want to.
The before times.
It's the Veronezh UFO landing that you and I did with Michael Moresi.
Right. I remember that one.
So that story, that was during the late 1980s. I think 1989 was the Veronezh UFO landing. In fact, I know that to be true. And something remarkable was happening in those final days of the Soviet Union. So newspapers and journals began publishing an increasing number of articles about unidentified flying objects. And public interest in the phenomenon skyrocketed. They also caught the interest of the CIA, who was obviously paying very close attention to the imminent collapse of the USSR. Now, we talked about this in the episode, and one of the things that happened was like the Iron Curtain falls, the wall comes down, and now Russia's like, hey, we got all these great UFO stories. We can print these in newspapers now in a way that we were not necessarily allowed to during the USSR reign or regime.
Sure.
So there's another link that I'm going to put in the show notes for everybody. This is CIA.gov, and this is just 5 pages that collects all of these different UFO encounters. And what I discovered was these are all basically from anywhere between 1986 and 1989. And it includes reference to the Veronezh UFO landing. So what I thought I would do is summarize for you guys here what's in these 5 documents, and to me feel a little bit more credible to some activity that might be happening in the USSR during this period.
Right. Okay, cool.
Bear with me on the pronunciation of these newspaper names because they are tough, let me tell you. In July 1989, Sotsjelchestnaskia Industria
pretty good
reported a wave of UFO sightings which set off a firestorm of excitement and curiosity. This was in the era of the Cold War, and the space race was not not too distant memory. So naturally, the idea of alien encounters seemed tantalizingly possible. It was also part of a global trend in the late 1980s, a growing interest in the UFO topic, because all of us were getting excited about UFOs around this time period. If you remember, Unsolved Mysteries, sightings, a couple of years before X-Files. So a groundbreaking initiative was launched with the establishment of a permanent center in Moscow dedicated to the study of UFOs. P. Prokopenko, the director of a laboratory specializing in anomalous phenomena, declared that this center would conduct serious research and support investigations into reported sightings. Now, again, this is coming out of this document that the CIA collected. Separate document from the one about the stone guys. This is where I would like to once again also point out that if you think that the recent activity here in the U.S. and of the Pentagon suddenly talking about the UFO thing seriously by collecting eyewitness reports is new, it's not. It's been done before multiple times and by other countries, and not much has changed. So here we have, in the 80s, the USSR was like, all right, we're setting up a call center. We're going to get to the bottom of this UFO thing. Nothing. Even after the fall, nothing. This is the best that we kind of got that we know of from their files. One of the most captivating cases during this time was the incident at Hill 661 near Dalnogorsk. What do you think? Yeah?
Dalnogorsk.
A UFO crash story that has been referred to as the Russian Roswell. In January 1986, witnesses claimed to have seen a flying illuminated sphere crash into Ivetskovaya Mountain. Ivetskovaya,
yeah.
Yeah, Ivetskovaya Mountain. Again, apologies, everybody.
You just sort of drop it.
Ivetskovaya, so many consonants, on Hill 661. And this hillside was named 661 because it stands about 611 meters above sea level. The story goes that on January 29th, 1986, multiple residents saw a glowing sphere crash into the hillside. Similar to the Flatwoods Monster UFO, eyewitnesses described that the object was not just some meteor plummeting towards the mountain, but an object that was being steered or controlled by some force of navigation before it finally crashed in a orange blaze that people said lasted for a long time. It was like an explosion, and then just like this reddish white light was emanating from the mountainside where it crashed. One eyewitness, go ahead.
That's crazy. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So one eyewitness, a mechanic named V. Kondakov, spotted the object while waiting at a local bus stop and described it as looking like a perfect stainless steel orb. Eyewitnesses described it also as like there was no portals, there were no holes. It was just like a beautiful metallic orb.
Cool.
And another kid was like, it didn't have a contrail, it didn't have a tail like a comet. It was just this bright metallic orb that came down and crashed. So scientists from the Soviet Academy of Sciences took the crash report seriously and conducted several extensive studies at the crater where the impact took place. According to the news reports at the time, they discovered tiny netted or mesh-like materials, little tiny like metal. They were like wadded up in little balls that raised eyebrows. They had gold, silver, and bizarre metallic compounds. Dr. V. Vityatsky asserted that the evidence pointed to the existence of advanced technology of extraterrestrial origin. He noted that the intricate nature of the materials discovered, suggesting they were beyond anything known to terrestrial science. Now this sounds like, to me, a lot like the infamous memory metal that was found at the Corona crash site by Mac Brazel during Roswell back in 1947. So
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Similar thing. And there's photos of these little, they kind of look like iron wool, and then they kind of look like charred Spider-Man's webbing in a way. So the CIA report points out that, like here in the USA, the USSR saw a major dichotomy between UFO enthusiasts and skeptics debating these cases. If anything, when looking through these reports, it just shows you how much we are alike than different when it comes to UFOs. The pages of publications like Nauka Aijin share the contrasting views, such as believers argue that UFOs left unmistakable evidence of their presence, while skeptics maintain that most sightings could be explained away with logical reasoning. In a news story from Serpokov in 1989, witnesses claimed that a UFO left a large circular depression in the grass, which we've heard of this time and time again. Enthusiasts argued that such depressions constituted physical evidence of an alien landing, while skeptics attributed them to natural causes. It's the same old stuff that we were dealing with here. But I love that it's kind of cool that they were experiencing the same stuff as we were, but we didn't really know it until the Iron Curtain fell.
Good point.
Which kind of lends to me credence that like there is some sort of universal experience taking place here.
Yeah.
Down to the separate camps debating what they are.
Right. Yeah.
In August 1989, engineer Yuri Ponomarenko and a group of colleagues claimed to witness an object resting quietly on the ground for about 20 minutes, emitting no sound. This sighting took place during a particularly busy year, and although the CIA reports collecting these stories don't use the term, I'm pretty sure Russia was experiencing a big ol' flap in 1989. Here's a snippet from the report. On September 30th, 1989, the paper noted that media all over the Soviet Union were receiving reports of UFO sightings on the ground and in the air, adding that the paper's editorial office was reviewing hundreds of reports related to UFO incidents. In response to this deluge of reports, the paper interviewed Anatoly Listratov, chairman of the section of the All-Union Astronomical and Geodetic Society. Geodetic? Is that a right word?
Beats me.
Beats me too. Assigned to the study of anomalous phenomena, who said that although his group is, quote, still wandering around in the darkness, some important developments in the investigations had recently occurred. He stated that, quote, at the sites of the landings, the operating frequency of a crystal-controlled oscillator changes. So they had their own military or official UFO guys checking out all of these sightings. This to me, it's like a Stan Gordon or a J. Allen Hynek.
He's got his cool gear.
He's got some crystals. He's tossing around in these grass circles.
Yeah. Bring crystal-controlled oscillator over.
Yes, yeah, very good, very good. A particularly dramatic incident involved Soviet military pilots who reported seeing a large luminous disc with beams of light emanating from it. They were shooting out the top and the bottom of the saucer. The pilots' experiences included physical sensations linked to the UFO's presence, which we've obviously come across before. One reported feeling intense heat, while both experienced health issues afterwards. These claims raise serious questions about the implications of such encounters for the personnel involved, prompting discussions about radiation and potential effects. Listratov cited the pilot's log as stating, co-pilot was at the controls, he observed the maneuver that the object had just carried out and was able to raise his hand to shield himself from unbearable light. The aircraft commander was resting in the adjoining seat, and a bright ray of light projecting a spot with a diameter of 20 centimeters passed across his body. Both pilots felt heat. And here's from the report again. According to Listratov, the aircraft commander and his co-pilot both became invalids shortly after the incident. The co-pilot was forced to leave his job due to a sudden deterioration in his health, including the onset of sudden prolonged periods of loss of consciousness. The aircraft commander died within a few months. The cause of death was listed as cancer and injury to the organs as a result of radiation from an unidentified flying object. That was listed as a contributing factor on the official medical record in the hospital where the commander died, according to Listratov. The stories, or the flap, reached a boiling point in October of 1989 when reports surfaced of what, Riley?
A UFO landing in the city of Veronezh?
That's correct.
Nice.
So I hadn't realized that was on the tail end of this flap that was taking place.
Oh, wow. Context. Look at that.
Yeah. So again, for people who haven't heard that episode, the nutshell of the Veronezh, it's a very wild story. There was basically in the city of Veronezh near a public park, a UFO that was the size of like a couple, I'd say like SUVs, lands in the middle of the park around multiple eyewitnesses, and a giant robot-looking thing with like a dome head and like 3 dots illuminating across its helm gets out, and a tiny little robot gets out and walks around. And people witness these things moving about the crowd. One person allegedly tried to attack, and the big guy produced a wand-like thing that we've heard about in all the Frogman stories, froze the human, turned him invisible, and then 30 seconds later, the guy reappeared. These robots basically march around for a little while, get back in the ship, and then fly away. And then all these people were interviewed on the news about this thing that had happened. There's all sorts of cool drawings and everything. I'll throw some up in the YouTube version of this. Really cool case. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't yet. But Riley, it made me think that it feels like whether we're talking about the Flap of 52, which ended with the Flatwoods Monster, or the Bigfoot UFO invasion of Pennsylvania, which culminated in that awesome sighting of the two Bigfoot with the green eyes and the glowing dome in Greensburg.
Right.
It feels like these flaps always end in a close encounter of the third kind. It's like lots of UFO sightings, and then finally one's on the ground and we see occupants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It fits a pattern, a form.
Yeah.
Yeah. A sort of universal.
And it's
story.
Cool that it was happening in Russia as well. And we didn't really learn about all of these things, until after the fact.
Yeah.
Also, that made me think that we need to start, somebody, if not us, needs to start looking up if anybody had a close encounter of the third kind instances after the drone stuff in Jersey. Like, did anyone report seeing any occupants during that drone flap that happened back in December and January?
I feel like we would have heard about that, though, because it was such a buzzy thing at the time.
I do, too. However, we know that not this happens to normal people that may not want to,
that's true.
Have the spotlight put on them.
That's true. That's very true.
So I could do a little digging. So as the inquiries into UFOs gained momentum, the establishment of scientific institutions dedicated their study, marked by a key development. Physicists, geologists, and even psychologists began engaging with the phenomena in earnest, leading to developing new theories and explanations, most notably discussions surrounding the possible existence of advanced extraterrestrial technology became more mainstream, even if they were often met with skepticism. A defining moment came when Vladimir Azaza, an influential figure in Soviet ufology, drew parallels between reports of UFO crashes in the USSR and the famous Roswell incident in the United States. He argued that there was compelling evidence to support both cases, suggesting that encounters with otherworldly beings were not just confined to the American mythos. And that's the big takeaway here. In the CIA report, they say, he believes there's sufficient evidence to support the claims of UFO crashes in both cases, in Dalnogorsk and in Roswell. In the latter case, he cited the testimony of eyewitnesses who maintained that they had seen the bodies of 4 extraterrestrials lying near the smashed spacecraft. According to physicist Yuri Platov of the Terrestrial Magnetics Institute, who was a skeptic, however, the eyewitnesses in the Roswell case were mistaken. Platov believes that the object that had crashed was a U.S. Air Force experimental rocket with 4 rhesus monkeys aboard, and that the accident was the result of an unsuccessful launch attempt at the dawn of the space era. I also like this fresh Roswell theory floated by a Russian physicist. So, monkeys. That's one.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
So that's why I would include that in there. So there you go. That's kind of the little rabbit hole I went down about CIA documents about alien attacks in Russia.
And that is really interesting how similar they are. I wonder if there's any stories out of China of this same period or other sort of superpowers. Because
there's got to be.
But especially Russia because of the politics of the time with the space race and the atomic race and everything. It makes sense to see these parallels between the U.S. and Russia,
and then
the Soviet Union.
And then how much of this is disinformation being whipped up by Moscow, or the U.S. government to freak out each other during the Cold War that we might have gained access to extraterrestrial technology.
Totally, yeah.
Because the whole Roswell thing became popular again. I mean, that story was dormant for decades and then became popular in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. So I wonder if all of this stuff was kind of like weaponized disinformation to spook everybody out about like, okay, well, because what comes next after the bomb, right? Russia had a nuclear bomb. We have the bomb. So what could up the bomb? What if
more bombs,
more or alien technology?
Right, something that can just transcend the power of the bomb, diffuse the bomb.
Right. Because those are also there's also a story somewhere in here in the document about UFOs that allegedly like fucked with bombs at a Russian nuclear site. I don't know, like. Obviously, there's something to this phenomenon. I'm not saying it's all made up by the government, but could some of this be like zhuzhing and disinformation to make people go, I want Russia to think that we have like an alien spaceship so if they try to attack us, we could turn everybody to stone. Or we want the U.S. to think that like Russia now has access to like stone pillar transmogrification technology, you know?
Course, yeah. Yes. Never underestimate the disinformation machine.
It's true.
Of either side, really. But
it's true. It's fun, though, right?
It is, yeah. It's a connection I've never seen drawn. It's we're breaking ground over here on the other side, you guys.
That's right. I'll put the links to all this.
Dots.
Connecting the dots, baby. I'll put the links so you guys can like read those Xerox copies of the reports if you want to. But there you go. That's it. Alien attacks in Russia. Little fun time. Some Gumby incursions. It's another episode of BCC The Other Side. Thank you, everybody. I want to let y'all know that our next movie club will be Man Beast.
Man Beast.
We're going back to the B movies, everybody. This is a 1956 black and white movie. It's 1 hour long. You can find it on YouTube or Amazon Prime. I will say that if you watch it on Amazon Prime, there's about 2 or 3 very important minutes missing in the
what is that
third
about?
act. I don't know.
I watched it on the Pizza Flix channel of YouTube.
Flix. Yeah. I would maybe recommend watching. Like the resolution is better on Prime, but also it seems that the frame ratio is compressed. It's like it looks like everyone's like a little too skinny.
Oh, they screwed up the aspect ratio.
Yeah, the aspect ratio. Thank you.
Got it. Yeah.
So the version that's on Prime is, although it looks more like high res, is kind of a warped version of it
and missing
a couple minutes. And then, but yeah, anyway, you can find it. It's free on YouTube at Pizza Flix. We'll put the link as well up on the other side so you guys can watch it. So in the meantime, that'll be a couple weeks from now. May's a long month. We wanted to get this one out to you earlier in the month, so it'll be a couple weeks before the Man Beast. So, get caught up on those BCC episodes.
Go back to episode 10.
Listen to that.
Follow up on this one.
Yeah, find us on Wednesday. We'll see you there. Don't forget to please subscribe to BCC on YouTube. Mm-hmm. We love you. Where there's love, there's kisses.
Thank you, Patreon.
Look out that window. Gumby's waving at you. I'm scared he's gonna like.
It's like Gumby with a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you can't stab Gumby back.
Oh, no.
There's no way to kill Gumby.
No.
You can't kill Gumby.
No.
Can you melt him? Could it with like a blowtorch do it?
Yeah.
Freeze him? You'd have to freeze him or melt him. It's like Terminator rules with Gumby.
That last frame of Gumby melting into the...
Yeah, just holding his little green thumb up. That's where this is. Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced and engineered by Riley Bray and executive produced by Riley Bray and Michael McMillan. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. Follow Suneaters on Spotify. For 3 bonus episodes every month and ad-free episodes, check out BCC The Other Side at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.